What's going on, YouTube? Man, oh man, what a week this one's been. I've been learning a lot of lessons the hard way, I'll tell you that. So I want to say, like, around Monday, I was running out of my hours on my clock. So I got up to my 70, and I've never ran recaps. I always try to reset while I was under a load. And it was working out, but I realized that, well, I shouldn't say I realized, I mean, I knew that I was losing a day, obviously. So you figure, obviously I want to get 3,000 miles a week. That seems to be, you know, that's everybody's goal. And you can do, okay, if I can do like 500 miles a day times 7, that's like 3,500 right there. So by me losing a day, I'm already set to, if nothing happens, if nothing at all happens, you know, traffic, all that other shit, I can make 3,000 a week. So that's really pushing it with these recaps, or not recaps, the reset. It was making me really push it. So I've been working off recaps this week for the first time, and I gotta admit I was scared to do it because I didn't fully understand it. And I'm not sure I still fully understand it, but I understand it a lot better than I did. We'll say that. Excuse me. But, you know, what it had me doing was, in order for me to, okay, so say, basically, to let you guys know, in case you don't know what recaps are, so whatever hours I drove 8 days prior to my 8 days prior, I get back that day. Okay, so let's say I ran out of my 70. Let's say I started on a Monday, just for argument's sake, and then I ran out of my 70 on a Monday. Well, that first day when I started on Monday, let's say I drove 9 hours. Well, then when I ran out of my 70 the next Monday, basically on Tuesday I would get back 9 hours. So that's how recaps work. You get back hours that you drove, and it keeps going, and it keeps going like that. Well, the way it felt for me, it happened to happen where it was like I was getting back 5.5 hours, and you know, I don't remember why I drove only 5.5 hours that day. I'm sure I was at a ship or a receiver or something. But regardless of the matter, I was only getting back like 5.5 hours. So in order for me to accept the load and make my delivery on time, what I had to do was start at like, well, the first day was like I had to start at like 5 in the evening. And then once midnight hits, I get back those hours. So I timed it to where I could start, drive, and then like literally my Garmin's saying you need to take a break in the next 15 minutes. I had it timed to where it was like as soon as midnight struck, I ran out of my hours on my drive time for that day. But once midnight struck, it replenished it and gave me that 5.5 hours, and I was getting back on recaps. Which, that's awesome, you know, that's fine and dandy. The problem is I've been driving the day shift the whole time, and I'm not used to driving like that. That required me to drive till 4 in the morning. I'm not used to that. I'm usually asleep by 4 in the morning, you know. And I also had to run off recaps the next day too, and start at 7 at night, which required me to ride till 9 in the morning, you know. And the big issue is, you know, like that night when I got my recaps at midnight, I ended up riding till about 2:30 in the morning. And the only reason why is because, you know, when you get tired during the daytime, you can still push it a little bit harder because it's during the daytime. But when you get tired at nighttime, I don't know about you guys, but when I get tired at night, stuff starts getting really blurry on me. Like the lights become brighter, the signs become harder to read, and the lines on the roads like start putting me in a trance and become harder to follow. So in order to be safe, I just went ahead and pulled off to the road. I pulled off and shut it down for the night. But you know, that was purely because I couldn't sleep during the daytime when I needed to sleep in order for me to ride. So I mean, and this is the reefer game, you know. They got mixed times. You know, sometimes they want you there at 3 in the morning, sometimes they want you there at 6 in the morning, sometimes they want you there at 9 at night, you know, so I'm gonna have to get used to my schedule like that. But yeah, I realized this week that I was losing a ton of money by not managing my clock right. So today's the start of the new pay period. I'm still running off recaps. And you know, and it goes back to my trip planning. You know, when I was trip planning, you know, you need to pay attention to where your hours are at, how much hours you got left on the clock. You know, and that way you don't end up like a doofus sitting there. You know, you get unloaded and you only got 2 hours left for the next day, and you're basically forced to do a reset in some fucking town you don't want, you know, or some town or truck stop you don't want to fucking do a reset at. So this week I'm definitely going to pay attention to my clock a little bit more, well, a lot more, obviously, and I got to pay attention to my recap hours and figure out how much I'm getting back versus how much drive time I'm going to be doing. That way I can work solely off recaps, and the idea here is I know I'm not going to pick up, like I said, if I run 500 miles every day, that's 3,500 miles in a week. You know, I know I'm not going to pick up that full 3,500. I mean, it's a possibility, but you know, I'm a realist. But at least I won't be pushing hard. The goal is for me to at least have that 3,000. Very achievable, I guess you could say. You know, obviously it's going to be up to the loads as well, but I don't want my hours affecting it. If I can, whatever I can control myself, I'm going to try to change it to where it's beneficial to me, if that makes sense, you know. So yeah, I'll keep you guys posted. That's how it's been though this past week. It's been hell. So till next time.